How y'all doing? This is Private Attorney Bey, and we're looking at the right to travel here. Now, right here on uslawbooks.com, the expert says the right of the citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon, either by horse-drawn carriage or by automobile, is not a mere privilege, which a city can prohibit or permit at will, but a common right, which he has under the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's real simple, ladies and gentlemen. That's basically telling you if you're born here, if you're a citizen in the United States of America, you're part of a state. And that state is subordinate to federal law. We're getting back to the federal law. And it is your right to travel from place to place. And whatever conveyance, which is an automobile or a horse and carriage, or a go-kart or a motorcycle or whatever, a skateboard, okay? If you're driving or operating your vehicle for personal use, that's called traveling, okay? Then you're not required to have a license unless you're employed or doing commerce, okay? And then that basic commerce means Uber, Lyft, you're a Lyft driver, you're a taxi cab, uh, you're selling lemonade out of your car, okay? Whatever you're doing commercially, if you have a business or a LLC or corporation or a sole proprietor, and you're operating uh, business out of your car, that's when you need a license. Okay, right here on the right to travel, it said it could be reasonably argued that Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 presumes the right to travel between states when it says that a citizen of one state shall have all of the rights of a citizen of another state, unless the state's constitution forbids. Okay, that means you have the right to travel from Illinois to Indiana in your own conveyance. That means you don't have to be limited to walk or ride a bicycle. If you have a car, if you have money to buy a car and you own it, right, and you're not doing commerce in it, then that's your business. And at that point, it's private business of what you're doing with your car, and your car is private property. So a police officer shouldn't be able to interfere with what you're doing with your private property, unless, of course, you're being a threat to society. Traffic regulations aren't mentioned in the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Therefore, the power generally falls into the states pursuant to the 10th Amendment. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states, or reserved to the states respectfully or the people. That's you. States are free to enact whatever traffic regulations they want, provided as long as they do not violate federal laws determined by the federal courts pursuant. Traffic regulations aren't mentioned in the Constitution because cars weren't invented yet. Right, so there's no constitutional law based on cars. So what states try to do is create state constitutional laws to fill in gaps and holes that weren't in the Constitution, and you can't do that. That's nullifying the Constitution. Constitution says right to travel. That's it. Many cases, documents, etc., using the phrase right to travel are in fact about freedom of movement, which is the constitutional right to travel between states at will. If anyone speaks of a constitutional right to travel, freedom of movement is the only valid thing they could be referring to, as we'll show. In pseudo legal circles, right to travel means the supposed right to travel freely in your private property, automobile, conveyance on the public roads, highways, without a driver's license, insurance, or registration, and exempt from regulation or interruption, provided one does not engage in commerce or earn profit or cause harm to people or property. Yeah, so basically that's saying some states have some laws, right? And any state that may have a statute and code, which is state law and subordinate to federal law and the Constitution, shouldn't be enforced, okay, with the police, because any state constitution or any state law or any bank code or any statute and code, it's all about the Constitution. People need to get back to that, and that's about it. Have any questions? you have any questions, you could leave a comment below, and like, comment, and subscribe.